Hello, welcome to my backyard where I look at my 2022 sketchbook that's filled with a lot of nice drawings that I really like in hindsight, and I will explain in hindsight later. But I know it was done in 2022 because it says finished 2022, even though there's no start date because I like being mysterious, I guess. So, these beautiful stickers, I don't remember where I got them except for this one because it was made by Chris Blaza, who is someone that I went to school with, and that's why I know he did this one. So let's look. A lot of little sketchies. That's my mom. I was in the doctor's office with her when I was drawing this guy, and his wife noticed I was drawing him, so she was like, "Wait, stay still. That girl's drawing you." So thank you so much to her for being a believer in the arts. I would do these little exercises where I would pick vanishing points and then draw random objects, and it was like really relaxing and fun to do these. I don't know where this. Okay, whatever. These drawings were done at the mall. I used to do that sometimes. I think these were drawings of girls dancing, which I also really like drawing because it's fun. Wow. You could tell I was having fun doing that. So at this point, my right arm really hurt. So I ended up drawing with my left hand. And I was like, maybe I don't need my right arm. Maybe I can just draw with my left arm. And I obviously could not. And thank goodness for physical therapy because I could not have had a career with my left arm. Oh, here are my notes. Okay, so at this point, I started drawing a landscape, which is really great because it felt more natural than drawing vertically. So this is when the fun starts. So this is something that happens every single winter where I think, wouldn't it be great to do a winter illustration? And then I never do it. And then around this time, I went kind of viral on Twitter for drawing this like sci-fi Latina character, and I was really proud of it, and I was like, maybe I can do that again, and then I never did because I was too scared to do it again, which is a pattern of behavior that you will see in the sketchbook. Sorry, I almost dropped my camera, which is just my phone. So I had a lot of really fun character designs, and I remember at this time where I was drawing these really fun shapes, I was thinking to myself that they weren't very good, which is like not a nice thought, but that's what I suffered through in the sketchbook. And I did this, I sketched for an illustration, which I finished digitally, and I remember I didn't like it, so I threw it away. Like I'm not sure what the PSD files are, which is really sad because it's such a whimsical little drawing and it's just very delightful. So at this time, I was thinking to myself that I'm gonna become an illustrator because I went to animation school, and I was like, my work doesn't fit animation, so maybe the only way to make a career is by becoming an illustrator. So then I started doing these studies of compositions, thinking, okay, the move is for me to sell at art fairs and stuff. So I'm gonna be an illustrator now and do illustration things, even though I don't like illustrating. Look at this little monkey. He's so good. I think also part of the problem of why I wasn't finishing my illustrations was because I was trying to do them digitally, and I really don't like doing things digitally. Even though they looked fine, I just don't like doing it that way. But I was like, I didn't have faith in myself to do them traditionally, which is like another pattern of behavior that you will see. I'm sorry, it's so windy. You're probably like, what's with this dramatic flipping? It's because it's windy. I'm sorry, guys. Look at her. That's a fun design. These are fun designs. And I was like, oh no, they are too generic, or like they're too weird. Why can't I just design things like Pixar? For some reason, I felt like the need to continuously deny my voice. I just didn't think it was good enough. And it makes me really sad because I didn't lack ability and I didn't lack voice. I just lacked trust in myself. So this is another illustration where I was like, you know what? I think the idea is good, but it's lacking something. So maybe at some point in the future, I will come up with the solution. And then I never did come up with the solution. So then I had this good idea that went to waste. And I feel like if I had just tried, like if I had just done it, if I had just finished this illustration, maybe it wouldn't have been perfect. Maybe it wouldn't have been exactly what I wanted. But I would have learned so much more by doing it, because all I did was okay, I can't, like, I'm too scared to figure out how to do it. Like, I'm scared that I don't have all the answers, so I'll come up with a better idea. And then when I came up with a better idea, I was too scared to execute it. So if I had just finished this, I would have learned a lot that I could have used for other illustrations. So around this time, I started doing, this is the main character for my webcomic. So I started doing a webcomic, which was like sci-fi and inspired by my family's culture, which is we're Costa Rican. So I went with this like sci-fi Latin American setting, and it wasn't very successful in the sense that like not a lot of people read it, probably like 3 people, and one of them was my best friend. But I discovered this joy where I was like, this makes me so happy. I don't care if it's good for a studio. I don't really care that like it doesn't look like something that could be published at Image or Marvel. I just love doing it. So maybe like I should just, like, I just kept doing it, and I'm very proud of myself for doing it, even though at the time I was very hard on myself. I was like, those aren't very good. No wonder it's not popping off, when that really was not the issue. It's like the issue was just that I had to keep going. Oh no, sorry guys, it's so windy. Oopsies. So at this time, again, because I was like, I'm gonna be an illustrator, so I'm gonna sell at art shows, I was like studying some merch designs from other people that I liked, and I was like, okay, time to do mine. And I'm not cutting any of this out because I don't know how to, frankly. So you just have to deal with this chaos. You know, it's like, this is also part of the process. Part of the process is being chaotic. And that's it. And okay. Okay, back to this. I hope you enjoyed that interlude. Okay, we sold these. That's cool. That's cool. Oh, I think I finished this. I did this digitally, and I think I didn't like it. Ugh. So anyway, I was like, let me do some merch designs, and I think I did end up making them, and then they didn't sell. So I was like, clearly I'm doing something wrong. When no, sometimes things just take a long time to build. That was my problem. I kept doing things and they kept not being successful, and I was like, that's it. I'm just not doing it right. When again, things just take a long time sometimes to build. Like sometimes you don't find overnight success, and that's okay. So this was an illustration that I really loved, that idea, because it was like a whale ship. And it was just very whimsical and interesting and cool. And instead of finishing it, I gave up because I was scared that it would be bad. And I should have just finished it, because again, that would have taught me more than running away. So this I did, obviously I painted this with gouache, and I had the most fun ever doing it because I love painting traditionally, but I was like, I have to do this digitally. So then I did, and I hated it. Wow. I think looking back on the sketchbook where I felt like I had such a distinct voice, and I like, obviously, we can always improve, but the draftsmanship was perfectly fine. And instead of like, you know, just like I was just really hard on myself. And I think that I'm sad that I didn't bring some of these ideas to fruition. And I think like if I had, then it would have been like such a gift to look back on them, because there is an illustration that I finished, that I can show you guys, and I really treasure having it. It was such a snapshot of my like of a moment in time, just like this sketchbook is a snapshot of a moment in time, and I like having that. So that was that river idea from the beginning that I didn't finish. I developed the design a little bit more, and I was like, maybe that's what it's lacking. Just like maybe I need to fix up the design of the boat. But again, I guess I wasn't satisfied with this design either, so I didn't finish it. Anyway, so I think what this sketchbook really taught me was that this was a pattern of, oh, I was like into Genshin Impact, you can tell because that's Chi-Chi. And I forgot what her name was, but I played a lot of Genshin Impact during this time. So I think like what this sketchbook taught me was that if I had just like finished things, I would have been much happier. And that's like recently there have been comics that I haven't finished because I feel like they're not good enough. Look at her. I like her. And I probably, at this time, I probably was like, this isn't good enough. It's too generic, or like it's not swanky enough. But I think she's pretty neat. She has good vibes. She has good vibes. But anyway, so with my comics, I feel like I'm kind of falling into the same pattern of behavior where I have good ideas that I enjoy doing it. Like, I'm enjoying it, but I'm not finishing them because I'm scared, or I feel like I don't have all the answers. But the thing is, you won't ever have all the answers. I think with art especially, you kind of have to always be figuring out the answers as you go along. There's like no other way to do it. So instead of waiting to have the right answers, you should just do it. Look at this guy. I felt like, this is the type of thing only I do, where I have these funny, cute little guys, and they're kind of like, they're technology based, and you can tell I was like looking at like Mayan architecture and Mayan design, and I blended them, and that's unique and fun and weird, and but I don't know. Again, I just didn't really have like like that's kind of the theme of this sketchbook, was that I was exploring these like fun, whimsical sci-fi ideas in a very cute way, and they're delightful to look at, but I didn't have any faith in myself. Like, look, that's cool. That's cool. That's pretty cool. So anyway, as you're looking through the sketchbook and you're hearing me ramble all about my I don't know, lack of trust and my perfectionism, I hope that inspires you to finish something and not care if it's perfect, because you know there's only one way to learn, and that's just like by doing the things that you have to do. I think you kind of should accept your skill levels where they're at. Look at her. She's lovely. She's very fun too. And then here's a really good design that like I should have just finished, because the composition is really fun. And if I had just like finished the drawing, I think people would have enjoyed looking at it. I mean, I would have enjoyed looking at it, and that should be enough. So like I said, I hope that if you're listening to this, if you're listening to me ramble on, you should go and finish something and just be curious about the thing that you're learning about. You know, maybe it doesn't look great, or like it doesn't fit your own perfectionist standards. Oh, so at this time I was doing freelance for a role-playing game. So these were character designs for that. And I remember at that time, while I was doing these character designs, I really like her. I remember I hated the finals. I was like, these are terrible. And recently, I looked back at them, at the finished illustrations, and I was like, these are fine. You know, like, I think the problem was that I wanted more. And I don't even know what more means. But I think you should just, again, accept things as you are. Like, accept your ability as it is right now, because you are doing something that only you can do at this very moment. In the future, your style might change, like, naturally. And you won't want to draw this way. Maybe you will, but maybe you won't. And you kind of should just be grateful that you're drawing things the way only you can do right at this moment. You know, and be curious about what that means. Like, what is, you know, why am I drawing the way that I want to? Because, you know, maybe that will teach you something. Or like, why am I not satisfied with this? Is it that the perspective is wrong? Or is it that, like, it's not the environment that I want? You know, like, you should just be curious instead of judging yourself so hard, is what I would tell myself from the past. I remember at this time I was playing Pikmin. So this is me and my friend Lee, which is really fun to see. Our styles have definitely evolved since then. We don't dress so basic. I think we embraced our weirdness. See, these are like, I think I finished this one as a digital drawing, but I wish I would have finished this one because that's pretty fun. I finished her, and I like my mean little notes to myself. I'm like, good character design, bad, or like, I think I just wrote just okay. I think if I had drawn them next to each other, it would have been very nice and very fun. And you know, this is an example of like just okay. Well, maybe like what I was dissatisfied was like a lack of specificity in the dress or something. And it was because I think this is a good design actually, especially when they're next to each other. So maybe all I needed to do was just like refine the dress a little bit, and then maybe I would never be satisfied, but I would have liked to see them side by side, because I only have her and I still like her. So it would have been nice to have them next to each other, but whatever. I like my notes, what makes me happy in illustration, layers of information that make a good composition, good dramatic lighting. Good dramatic lighting. That's funny because I think I hated painting. Good character design. I think that one's obvious because you can see my sketchbook is full of character designs. I think something that's missing in this list, and something that's more important than all of this, is that I like drawings that make me feel whimsical, like illustrations that just make me feel whimsical. And I think that you know, I should have followed that whimsy more. Like, instead of being like, oh, this has to be the perfect illustration, this has to be the illustration that sells, that's gonna make me go viral, that's gonna make me make people follow me. I think I should have just like been like, but what do I feel about this? Do I like this? That's the more important question, because I'm the one who has to keep making it. Like, what if I go viral but I don't enjoy making it? Am I gonna force myself to keep making shit like that? No. You know? So it's like, it's the, like, in terms of longevity, it's about what I want to do, because I want to make art for the rest of my life, because I like drawing so much. So that's what matters. Do I want to keep doing this? Like, because after these sketches, or like the sketchbook, I didn't try to do illustrations again, but I focused on comics instead. I love these. Look how fun these are. Look how fun this guy is. I think I wanted to make him into a sticker, and then I didn't, because I don't know, you know? But anyway, I think, like, if I want to keep drawing this way, then I should. And I shouldn't care if it doesn't fit animation and, like, popular trends on social media or whatever. This is who I am, and that's enough, because it makes me happy. Obviously, at that time, it was hard, because I was like, I need to make my money from art. And that made it really difficult, because, you know, having a creative career is really hard. I really like her. A lot of emotion and, like, energy. And so this is a prime example of what I was talking about, where I did this really beautiful drawing, and the next step was just to paint it. I just had to paint it, but I was too scared to do that, because I was like, what if I finish it and it's bad? And then this is my one shot to make a good illustration. That's the way anxiety lies to you, because you just make shit up. But I was like, what if I finish this and it doesn't go viral, right? Or like, what if I finish this and no one likes it? And then I was too scared to finish it, and that's a shame, because it's a nice drawing. Same with this, like, what a nice little drawing. And I think this is what I was feeling at the time, where it's like, oh, it's done enough, but then it's like, but could it be done more? Like, is it, like, it's good enough, but could it be better, right? Like, that was the thoughts. And I even, like, my note here, every part matters, even the colors, so you need to resolve every part. You know what? You don't. Sometimes you don't know. Like, sometimes you need to just finish it, and maybe the colors are off, but that doesn't matter. Like, you have to be curious, right? Instead of being like a perfectionist, where every part of your illustration should be great. Maybe, you know, your colors are great, but your composition isn't there. That's okay. Your colors are great. That means that you should focus on, like, your next illustration. Let me focus a little on the composition. Maybe it'll get a little bit better. You know, like, it's overall, you'll get better eventually. You just have to, but you won't get better eventually if you are your own worst critic. That was the problem. I was my own worst critic. I like this idea a lot. It was a little robot guy with a terrarium, like with an ecosystem inside of him. And my thought was he would just walk around the desert with this little ecosystem. And I really like this idea, and I really like these little plants, these little sci-fi plants, and I like her. So I guess the lesson here is you should trust that you will find your own answers eventually at some point. So here is a drawing, a sketch that I liked, and I'm very happy to say that this was one of the few illustrations in the sketchbook that I did finish. And let me show it to you now. So here's the finished drawing. You can see it's pretty close. I remember when I was doing this, I really loved doing it. I love pencil, and I really like I got this electric eraser, and I would just go in and make some, like, really sharp erasing, and it made for, like, a really nice look. And then And I just remember when I was doing it, I felt like this is right. This is what art should feel like. I feel like a real artist when I was doing some of my digital illustrations. And not that there was anything bad about them, but I didn't feel connected to my own process. And then when I did this, I felt like this is what art should feel like. Like, I feel like a real artist. And I colored it digitally. And the result was so beautiful, and I was so proud of it. And I remember that no one else did. Like, it didn't, no one on Instagram liked it, and like no one on Twitter liked it. And like the art people that I knew at the time didn't seem to care for it. So I was like, I guess like I really internalized that. And I was like, this is bad. Even though it's not, it's a nice drawing. And I'm really proud of it. To this day, I'm still really proud of it. And then basically that made it impossible for me to finish all my other ideas. Like, this was a cute little idea. This was a nice idea too. And I had all these, like, I did finish this one though. I had all these illustration ideas that I was too scared to finish because I was like, what if I pour my heart into it and no one likes it? You know, and sometimes that's gonna happen. Like, you're gonna put your heart into it and you won't you won't go viral. You just won't. But you know you like doing it. So are you gonna stop yourself? No. And you shouldn't, like, again, like, you don't want to feel that pain. So sometimes your anxiety lies to you and you're like, you just have to get better. And like, sure, maybe you have to acquire more skills, but the reality is that it's not about being good enough. Because you're never going to feel good enough. Like, that's just never going to happen. But you shouldn't be afraid of finishing things. Because, like, oh, what if they're not good enough? Like, you know? Like, I think it would have been really great to finish some of these. Like, this would have been a really fun illustration to finish. Just because it would have been fun for me. This is a really emotional sketchbook review, guys. You know, I hope that if you're watching this, again, you are, I don't know, enjoying me. Because I'm sure this is relatable to a lot of, like, unfortunately, the cliche of, like, the perfectionist artist is so real. And sometimes I'm, like, embarrassed because it's like, ugh, I'm just such a cliche. But, you know, it takes a lot of work to look at your sketches or drawings and be like, it's good enough. This was a nice little drawing. It's good enough. And then not be afraid that other people won't like it. Not everyone's going to like your work. That's just a fact. And that's okay. And like, believing that it's okay is really hard work. But I hope you can look at your drawings today or your painting or whatever and be like, this is good enough. And you know, try really hard to mean it, because one day you will believe it. So I think at this point I was like, I'm gonna do comics again. So I'm gonna like learn how to ink. I was like, I'm gonna learn how to ink. Also at this time, you can tell it was 2022 because I was doing like Wordle. Like, what a funny little time capsule. This was like for this was for a graphic novel idea that I didn't end up pitching, but it was a funny little idea. And I like drawing those two sisters. So these are my ink drawings. I remember at the time I didn't like how I inked them. And I think we're coming to an end. You know, if you made it this far, thank you so much. I probably repeated myself a lot, but that's because the sketchbook was just like full of the same lesson over and over and over and over. And it's honestly one that I'm still learning because, like I said, I have to finish my comics. I have to. I like my ideas, and so I have to do it. So I think this was a very good sketchbook to remind me that, as long as I like what I'm doing, and I did, I really like doing this stuff. I think that they're really fun. I really like doing it traditionally. I like drawing it traditionally, inking it traditionally, coloring it traditionally. I like doing it this way, and it doesn't matter that I'm not social media famous because it's really hard to do that. You have to be like good at marketing and branding and stuff. I really like the hatching. She's like a really good character. Um, Look at her. She's so much fun. I love it. So anyway, being social media is really hard, and like art is very competitive because so many people are so good. And instead of comparing myself to them, because I was also doing that a lot during the sketchbook, so instead of like comparing myself to other artists who have already made it, and the thing is they've made it by being themselves, I just didn't trust that. I was like, it worked out for them, but it's not going to work out for me because there's something wrong with me. And there wasn't. The only thing that was wrong with me was that I was like really hard on myself. But don't compare yourself. That's something everyone always says, but it's very hard to do that because you're like, oh, this person made it, so that must mean that, like, if I just do what they're doing, I'll be famous too, or like I'll sell my book. Because these were like comic ideas, and I was like, oh, is this even good though? Because like, famous comic book artist, Victoria Yang or whatever wouldn't do it that way. So am I even gonna make it? How am I gonna make it? Which again is the wrong point. I think if I had just pitched it, it would probably sold. Or even if I hadn't, I would have just like made a different story, and I would have learned a lot from this pitch. Because these are all ideas for the same comic. And the only reason why I don't want to pitch it now is because I don't really want to do children's books. At that time I did, or I felt like I had to because it was the only thing that was selling. And I don't know. I mean, it would have been fine, but I don't want to do that. I want to do like different types of comics. But that she would have been the main character, and she would have been the other main character. And I think that's basically it. I think we're almost done. Okay, you are not being held hostage. You can click off of this video now. Thank you so much for looking at my giant sketchbook. It was very big and very extensive, and I've been recording for 33 minutes, which is crazy. Anyway, so I hope that you're kind to yourself. It's not always easy, but you'll get there, just like how I'm getting there too. I'm learning to be nicer to myself every day. Thank you so much for watching, and have a really good day. How do I turn this off?